I really trusted and valued my mom and dad's opinion of people that are good. Would you bring this person home to your mom? Could you bring this person in front of your friends and family and ask them, just tell me about this person. Is this person good for, are you guys picking up on things that maybe I'm not picking up? How's it gonna hurt you to run diagnostics on yourself at least every year? Know your baselines. And so I see people that were like data, but they don't understand that the data represents people.
Facts.
Right? In most businesses, you can't really forget about the people.
What's going on, family? It's your boy Darius, back with another episode of Influence to Impact podcast, where we have influential and impactful conversations, y'all. And today I got one of them ones, man. Something outside of what we may call the norm for a lot, but something that I feel is very much needed, something that I'm in the process of currently working on myself. So I had to bring someone who's crushing it in terms of a few things. We're gonna talk about anti-aging, staying young, being the best you so that you can live the best life you want. My guy Carlton, how you doing today?
Good, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. I know we've been talking for a few weeks, looking to make this thing happen, and this episode is gonna be unorthodox in comparison to what we usually go over is just straight business tips. But I feel like, you know, when I had a conversation with Brendan, he was telling me the things you got going on. This is needed, right? So for those who don't know you, give the people a little introduction, who you are and what you have going on.
Cool. Well, appreciate you having me here. Carlton, Washington, originally from Washington, D.C. And right now what I got going on is I just moved to Atlanta, Georgia from South Florida, home of Forever Young Anti-Aging Solutions. And we're bringing Forever Young to Atlanta right now. So my main focus and goal really is to continue building value in Forever Young. It's a company we started in 2014, and what we do is we make people look better, we make people feel better, all with medical science under one roof, kind of like in a retail cool setting. So it looks like a nightclub, but it's really kind of a doctor's office in disguise with stuff for really people who are well, who want to stay well. We don't really treat sick people. We're looking to keep people who are well, healthy, and who understand the value of looking good and feeling good, and they want to keep that for as long as possible. So that's what we do.
That's so dope, bro. How did you get into this?
So I tell this story every single time. I got into this business really as a symptom of depression, because I was in a situation where I was extremely unhappy, dissatisfied. I was working in corporate America. I left Atlanta. I was living here in Atlanta 11 years ago. I thought I was just here forever. I was in a situation where I was living in a free and clear home, didn't really have to work too much. I was just kind of just chilling. And my wife was like, hey, you know, I've done so much to really help you with your career and whatnot. I want you to come and help me with my career, and that's going to include us going back to South Florida. And I didn't really want to do it, so I went down there. I had to take a job doing something I really didn't want to do. Took a big step back in my career, and man, I was just super depressed. I was waking up every day. I looked like one of those antidepressant commercials. I'm sitting on the side of my bed, and sometimes I just be having my head in my hands and just I'm like, I just can't do this.
Don't know what I'm doing.
You know, and I was desperate, and so I would have done anything, and so I was considering doing a number of things. One of the things that really had an impact on my life was I started testosterone therapy here in Atlanta, here in Buckhead. And it changed my life. It made me more competitive. It made me be able to surpass my peers, younger people. My thinking, my physical state, everything was better. And so I was like, shit, if I'm gonna give up, I might as well just go out, you know, doing something like this that's cool, that I can get behind, that I know that works. And I just did it. And I didn't really think too much. It was pure hunger, desperation, and we just built it as we went.
That's fire, bro. So dope. And I want to get into that because what I'm hearing is, like, again, my big thing is what happened to you actually happened for you. You went through something, not being in another place where you wanted to be. And a lot of times I feel like as entrepreneurs, that's when we get pulled out of, that's when we make our biggest or quantum leaps. Where we're like, I'm willing, you say you're desperate to do anything to get out of that depression state.
Yeah, I always think back to Eric Thomas, who I spent some time with as a mentor. And I go back to, you know, really that story that put him on the map. I don't know if you ever heard it before, but it's the guru story when he talks about the guy that goes and talks to the guru and he's like, how bad do you want it? And he's like, you're never going to be successful until you want it as bad as you want to breathe. And when I tell you, I probably would have done anything. I'm talking about like anything. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it was right or whether it was wrong. That's where I was at. And that's where all that energy really came from.
Fire, bro. Shout out to you for getting yourself out of a rut, because that's a pivotal point where a lot of people might quit. A lot of people might just settle, but you made a decision. I feel like literally in our lives, a lot of us, we come to points where it's one decision that's either going to get you to that next level or it's going to sit you there. And I feel like, God don't get us to that next chapter in our life unless we pass the test. So shout out to you for that. So let's get into this, the testosterone therapy, right? TRT?
Yep.
Known as? Okay, cool.
TRT, testosterone therapy, hormone replacement therapy.
Okay, all synonymous,
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
So for people, because a lot of people are uneducated, right? Like when I heard about it, being ignorant, my immediate thoughts were, oh, is that like steroids, right? Not knowing. So can you break down for the people how testosterone works, why it's beneficial for us to be checking on us, our blood levels and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really try to break people away from that stigma of, is it steroids? Now, I will tell you the truth. It is performance enhancing.
Yeah.
It's 100% performance enhancing. And I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to be performance enhanced.
Right.
And so, but at the end of the day, we're just talking about biology here. You go back to biology, if you get any kind of basic medical education and you see a lab report, blood report with hormones, it's going to have your testosterone level on there. It's going to have your estrogen levels on there. It's going to have things like DHEA, which is a pro-hormone that builds these things up, and all these different indicators on there. Well, those numbers mean something, and a lot of people don't understand. They're not educated on it. And so what they think is a symptom of something else, a lot of the time goes back to your hormones. And I always tell people, like, look, if I could go and I had like a little control board for you, like this over here, and I want to move some levers around, I could toy with your testosterone, your estrogen levels, and some other hormones and turn you into many different versions of you. A sad you, a confident you, an angry you, a you with a high libido, you that doesn't want to ever think about sex, whatever it is. And so people don't understand a lot of time when they're going through these emotional things in their life, they're going through physical change in their life. They don't understand and they're not being educated. It goes back to these levels.
Yeah.
These levels are what makes you. It's just like a computer, like a robot.
Right.
And so when you're able to go in and optimize something that maybe not at the level that it used to be, through the aging process, the morbid way of putting it is that, look, as you get older, the reason why people get soft, the reason why people get forgetful, the reason why people basically start not having sex as much or not want to go to the club as much or whatever it is because you're essentially dying. That's the morbid way of putting it. That's why older people look different than younger people, different stages of life. So what are we talking about when we're talking about aging? We're talking about sagging skin. We're talking about the inability to keep muscle mass. We're talking about gaining weight in places you didn't want to. We're talking about your wife or you or your girlfriend not wanting to touch each other anymore. Y'all sleeping in separate. All these things that people are like, well, that's just normal. Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And so when we go in and we look at a man or a woman's hormone levels, we're looking at what's optimal versus where you're at. So if what's optimal is at 800 and you come in and you're at 300, well, that means, percentage wise, you're less than 50% of the person that you want to be. And if I got another guy that's your age who's in your peer group and he's optimal and you're not optimal, now you're a suboptimal human being, right? And so if I start educating you with this and I show you that you're missing out on all this and that this is a biological replacement for what you're missing out on. And I also show you and allow you to do due diligence and research and data and see that there are really no negatives and downsides to this versus where you are going. If you stay on that path, then the natural thing to do is say, let's take a shot at this. I've been doing this for over 17 years. I wouldn't trade it with anybody, man. And so when you come through this process, what's on the other side is better body composition, the ability to turn protein into muscle, which then burns more fat. So now you look different. Now you feel different. You get in front of the mirror, you're starting your day differently. Not to mention that when you're hormonally optimized, there's other things like pheromones and other things in your body that are sending out signals of health. And this is the basis of you being attractive to someone else. It's subconscious as well. And so you're operating at this level, your cognitive function's better, your sleep is better, therefore things are better in a measurable sense. And so that's what we do. And that's why I was so confident in doing this, because I was in the financial services world. And so most of the things I was doing 1, 2, 3 years later, you're probably in a worse situation.
Right.
You probably paid too much for something, got in some shitty investment, that only benefited the bank or whoever else. And so now I can go to sleep at night knowing that a guy like yourself, you came in or whatever, you could leave, and I know that I've actually done something right.
Yeah.
And you might come back, you know, a month or two later, be like, man,
Yeah.
I didn't believe you at first, but this is incredible.
It's working. Yeah.
And 99% of the time, that is the conversation we get.
Absolutely.
And that's been happening for 11 years now.
That's fire, bro. And I know it got to be fulfilling to you because, like you said, when you're really helping people and putting people in a position to change their lives for the better, it's always, the best feeling. And one thing you touched base on was really what I got out of it is look good, feel good, perform good, right?
Yes.
Because it's how we feel here is first, and then we project that into the world. And as an entrepreneur, athlete, whatever it may be, high level, you're trying to outperform the
Absolutely.
people. So if I'm enhancing, the biological, the things that I'm lacking, and I can turn those into now wins, and I can perform longer. I don't care whether it's pumping out more content. I don't care whether it's I could teach longer, I could talk longer. Like, for example, we do 5-day events where we speak in 5 days, 2.5 hours a day. They can
Right.
be fatiguing,
Right.
but if my energy's up, I'm feeling good, I can perform higher.
Right.
Cognitively, I could
Right.
perform better. And when I heard about this, I was like, yo, that's pretty fire. And then I seen one of my good friends, he been on it. He like 44. He looking like he's 21. I'm like,
Right.
bro, this is crazy. So super dope. In terms of age, right? Are there like barriers, like in terms of, is there an optimal age that someone should look into testosterone replacement, or even in general, just seeing what they're deficient?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So and it's funny because our medical director has been with us for 10 years. Shout out Dr. Abner Borges, and we've gone back and forth on this because all of our clinics are medically directed. These are directed by physicians.
Fire.
We are civilians in the medical world. I'm not medically trained or whatever, but I know in the layman's terms what we do because I'm a patient and I work with the patients. And so we've kind of got to update in terms of our system because before we were just like 30 plus. 30 plus is where you should probably be looking into this because that was what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
But to answer your question, now what we're seeing, and we spoke to the doctor about this the other day, we are seeing this massive increase in the data and in our own data. We have the data. We're running the labs on the people. 20-year-old guys, man, that have testosterone levels that are less than 70, 80-year-old guys.
Crazy.
And I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about a lot. And so I would say, look, in today's world where no one's really gone through this world before, no one's gone through the experiment that we're going through before, right? How's it gonna hurt you to run diagnostics on yourself at least every year? Know your baselines. And so, I have a son, he's 14 when he's 18, and I do it now. I want to see where you're at every year if something's way off the map or whatever, because there's no need to go through a year, 2, 3, 4 life, suboptimal, wondering why you're depressed, wondering why you just can't get it together. Absolutely. And then you realize on this sheet, like, oh, here's the answer. That's right there.
Yeah. They say what's measured can only be improved, right? And it's like, we don't know. What we don't know, we can't fix.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Saying prevention is better than care. So really anybody 20 to, like you said, 60, 70. So the process essentially. So someone comes in, they get blood work. The blood work tells them where they're at everywhere, body fat, what they're lacking, what they're better in. And then from there, you let them know, give them recommendations on what they need to get better or to get optimal.
Absolutely. So when people come in, we're doing comprehensive blood work. It's typically about 9 to 13 pages, depending on what you select. That's going to probably be 8 more pages than what you would get at a normal doctor's office physical, especially if you're using insurance, because insurance is not paying for anything.
Right.
Our patients are paying for their care. This is elective, so they're getting more. It's a premium, so you're getting premium results. And so we're going through about, on average, 10 pages of blood work that we're then taking, and we're matching it with your body composition. We're matching with, your hydration levels. We're matching it with your level of muscle mass, your level of fat, all these different things. And we're saying, this is you right now.
Fire.
Are you happy with this? And if if you're not, this is what can be you, and this is the process here. And so it's not necessarily just testosterone. It could be in other hormones. We do medical weight loss, all these different things. The point of the matter is, when you leave, we want to give you a plan so that you're better. And kind of like the way you were talking about performance, that's where we really win, because again, everything, like you said, if it's measured, If you go to bed every day and you don't measure anything, and I go to bed every day and I measure everything, I'm going to win every time.
Facts.
And so that's what I'm seeing now in today's world is like people think that they're winning but they're really not aware of what winning really is.
Yeah.
Because they're just winning at what they know.
Exactly.
You know, they don't know that, oh, I could get another 30% out of me.
Right.
Without killing myself either. You know what I'm saying? A better 30% of me.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's cool. You got to pay for that.
Yeah.
Right. But if not, that means we win every time.
Exactly.
You know, and by we, I mean the people that know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And that's why you'll notice a lot of the time, I'm noticing this all the time now when I travel, when I'm conducting business, when you're in certain rooms, people who have this knowledge, man, they're moving different.
100%.
They understand, and it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
And they're not killing themselves like some other entrepreneurs and people in business trying to get ahead.
Right.
They're actually doing more work optimally and probably making it look better.
Yeah.
And probably having more fun and probably getting more rest.
Exactly.
Than the person that thinks that you're just killing it.
10 hours a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more efficient.
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
efficient, less time, better results.
Absolutely.
That's super dope. Man, this is so good. So let's get into the business side because, you know, I heard you say you got locations in Florida. Now you got them in Atlanta. You guys have been around for 11 years. What has it been like? Because a lot of people, you know, they go open one brick and mortar and that's tough enough, but you've been able to obviously scale. What do you think some of the, I guess, secrets or your hacks or how you've been able to grow this thing to having, was it 4 locations now?
No, we have this is going to be the 64th location.
64.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Hey, forgive me, y'all. 64 locations. So how does someone get from 1 to 64 locations?
So yeah, we're in 17 states now. This will probably be the 64th location. We open 1 to 2 every month right now. And it's no secret per se, but it's something that I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with. And it's also something a lot of people toy with, which is unfamiliar, in my opinion, as well, which is franchising.
Yeah.
And a lot of people not having understanding of franchising, and very few people having understanding of that.
Okay.
And then doing what it takes to do that, which I always tell people I'm in the health and wellness business, but I'm not going to lie to you. What we did was extremely unhealthy in terms of effort.
Okay.
And so again, I go back to what we were saying before, like being willing to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that energy.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that energy, not for a week or a year,
Long period of time.
but I'm talking about like 9 years of that, dude.
Dog
You
work.
know? And now that we're doing this in Atlanta, like I'm coming down to this is a store that I bought from our company. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
like I'm partnering with our company that I'm a owner in.
Right.
Paying them a fee.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? To do this, what I did 10 years ago with a partner here in Atlanta. So I'm out in the streets, bro. I've been walking the street. I've been walking by your building, you know what I'm saying, for the last 2 weeks, knocking on doors everywhere, just walking down the street, just, you know, like it was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's the secret. It's not a secret. There is no secret.
Work.
It's doing what people don't want to do. And my cheat code is that we're highly optimized individuals. So like
Fire.
maybe before I do this, I got an IV in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a vitamin shot and I'm on TRT and I probably got a good night's sleep. And, you know, maybe somebody who's competing against me, like they didn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm good. Like we're going to do this until we can't do it no more.
can't. Yeah.
You're going to do it until you run out of breath.
Yeah.
You know
they
what I'm
got
saying?
20 doors. You got 200 doors in.
Exactly.
And that's the difference. 7 days, that's 1,400 versus 80 doors.
Exactly.
Which is dog work. Now, that's so dope. So I always tell my people, I say, all work works. The work's going to work on you first. And then until you become the person that it can work for.
Absolutely.
And when you say, like, not only are you making sure that you're good, because as you get better, it gets easier, it sounds like. And because you stay good, you make sure that you'll perform optimally, work is easy. And compound interest, talk about that compound effect. I'm sure now it's probably a whole lot easier than it was when you first started.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
That's the crazy thing, man. It's like, it's weird, because I like the word that you use, the compound effect.
Yeah.
But I tell people right now, I'm not afraid to admit this. You know, I have I don't know how many franchise. We know we have 60 plus locations. Franchisees wise, we probably have, let's just call it 60 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I admit to everybody, I'm scared to death.
Wow.
You know, but because it's never, I don't think the grunt work's ever easy, man. I don't think it's easy. And it's funny because the guy I've partnered with here, I kind of explained it to him. He thought I was being pessimistic through the process. And I'm like, no, it's not pessimism. I'm creating this sense of fear on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm creating the agitation. I want people around me, and I want people in this process to feel very, very uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Good. And so we do it on purpose, because it's not easy regardless, but it's definitely not easy if you think it makes it harder if you think it's going to be easy.
Makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't call it easy, but the compound effect is exactly what will make or break our business. I have to be careful not to talk too cocky out here right now, because I'm going back in. God forbid something happens. I got all these people that I told, oh, this is great.
Now looking at
you can't do it. Yeah. So I'd say
Makes
what
sense.
we're working for is the compound, and that compound is exactly what you said. Activity, activity, activity. So if I go out and I speak to 50 people, like I just went on the Beltline 2 weeks ago, we spoke to 75 people.
Wow.
How many people do I think I get in from there? 6 maybe,
so
right?
About 8-10%.
Right.
Okay.
I plan on being at that Beltline at least 3 times a month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Piedmont Park at least 3 times a month. Sometimes it might be 2 days in a row. Sometimes it might be 3 days in a row, because I know that, like you said, I'm only converting about that 10%. So it's taking that 10% number, multiplying it times the days in the month. And then I know in my business, people usually come back every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So every quarter, then we're looking at the multiple of that to get to our profitability or break even, right? Wow. But you got to keep, so what I've seen is at 16 to 18 months.
Okay.
So if you do this for 16 to 18 months, then you can laugh and smile.
You can get it. Okay, It makes sense. Now, again, what's measured can be improved. And, we always talk about data. Data is everything in your business. My guy knows when he talks to 10 business owners or 10 doors, he's going to get 1. And when you understand your numbers, now business becomes, I would never say it's super predictable, but it becomes closer to predictable than not predictable, right? Because you know what work is required for you to get the result that you're looking to get.
And when you say data, a lot of people really get on me about this, man. I'm a marketer. And maybe I'm articulating this inappropriately, but a lot of time I've noticed that I'm not looking at the data, I'm feeling it. Like I feel it. And I think that's what's missing in people that I've seen, that lack of success. Yeah, we got data, we get metrics, we get digital marketing metrics, we get, cost per leads, all this stuff, cost per acquisition. But when I'm in my center as a retail business, or even if you're, selling a product, and I'm talking to the people, and I know what I just spent on a marketing budget, and I know that I spent X amount more, and then X amount more people walked in, and like, this is what they're coming for. That's when I feel like you're more unstoppable. Like I see people that were like data, but they don't understand that the data represents people.
Facts.
Right? And so in most businesses, you can't really forget about the people.
Facts.
And so I lean more into the people to kind of tell me whether they're doing it verbally or if I can just get a feel for it, or it's some intuition. And then the data, okay, cool, I'll look at it for a second. But in retail, I like to feel what we're doing. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, and now they say if you love on the people, the money will come. And you being in the field is probably, I would assume it's a separator. It's like, okay, this guy's out in the field actually doing the work, versus, like you said, a lot of times we're in the world, especially with digital marketing, where like, paid traffic can just solve these problems. And it's like, nah, you're in the field actually doing it.
Bro, that's a great way to kill yourself.
Yeah.
In business. And I see it time and time again, especially you're competing on a playing field that everyone has access to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it's very hard to dominate that. Maybe you can dominate it with dollars, but at the end of the day, I've beat people with dollars before. I beat people for years that had quadruple the marketing budget we had in the streets for free. And the reason I know that I can still share this, and I don't even have to make it a secret, the reason I know this, you tell me why I know this, and I can share it with people.
Because you're doing it.
No, but why would I feel comfortable sharing something that should be a secret?
Oh, because they're not going to do the work anyway.
Bingo.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. Yeah. So that's the funniest thing about all these podcasts, all this stuff. If you look at podcasts, you got some good guests on here. I'm pretty sure every guest drops at least one nugget that could change your life.
Absolutely.
And they're like, do this one thing, read this one book, get up at this one time, do this one exercise, whatever it is. And the funny thing is, man, I realize, and I tell this to people every time if I go speak somewhere or whatever, just look at the audience before I leave and I'm like, look, hey, I just want to let you guys know, I don't think any of you guys want to do this today. And I'm not doing it to be negative to them. I'm doing it because I'm talking to the 5 out of 100 people in that room who will do it.
That's
and
fire.
They're going to take that as a challenge, be like, watch, watch. Watch.
That's dope.
And that's the kind of energy you need. But most people, bro, so you can tell people like, I can show you how to build a $3 million retail business in 18 months. This is how you do it. But you're going to have to go out every month, every week, 3 to 4 times. It's going to suck. Maybe you do it 17 days in a row, 1 week or 2, but this is how you build it. They will tap out after month 1 or
100%.
2. And a lot of the time they're going to tap out because maybe they could actually do it. Maybe they want to do it, but maybe their bodies won't even allow them to do it because they're not optimized. So they just tired.
So good.
You know what I'm saying?
So good. Hey, this is bars, and these are success principles. So the things he's talking, we talked retail, but I say how you do anything is how you do everything. In the principles that you're talking about, they apply to all things, all businesses, your whole life. Grant Cardone, one of my favorite books is 10X. He said most of us, most of us, what we do is we underestimate the amount of effort it's going to take to accomplish a goal, and we underestimate the amount of adversity that we're going to face. So when they hear 16, 18 months, someone's probably in the audience, they're going to say, that's caps. 18 months, I can't make a $3 million. Right. Well, go do the work.
It's sitting right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have a 50-50 relationship with Grant Cardone in terms of sometimes he says things, he gets it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like the delivery, but I love 10X. I think the 10X mentality, I adopted within year 1. I read the book. It made so much sense. It's not rocket science. He's just saying just do 10 times more. You can measure that.
Yes.
You can measure that. So, and a lot of people in business will tell you, don't pay attention to your competition. It's a distraction. Don't get distracted. I tell people with the 10X, it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Obsess over competition, like a stalker, like a psycho.
Yep.
Watch everything that they do because they'll give away all the weaknesses. And if they're having success, they'll give away the successes too. But usually they're giving away their weaknesses.
Facts.
And I'm finding in whether it's a service business, a product business, even if you're web-based, and especially in retail business, the thing that they won't do across this country right now is they will not do the work. Most people are socially inept.
Yes.
They have very poor communication skills. Even adults lost their level of communication skills over COVID in certain places.
Yep.
We didn't have that problem in Florida, but like other places,
Most places,
I notice here, this city still hasn't recovered.
I know.
I'm out on the Beltline giving away free services. People look like socially inept. They are. They're scared to communicate and talk to people. So, again, this is free.
Yeah.
And again, bro, we were out there the other day promoting. I hadn't had to do this, bro. I hadn't done this in like 6 years, man. I've been on Easy Street with that.
Yeah, it's cool.
And so probably 50% rejection level. People looking at you like you're crazy, looking at me, like I'm some bum.
Yeah.
Or girls looking at like I'm trying to solicit them or whatever. It's like, no, I'm just gonna give you something for free.
Exactly.
I'm promoting. But I was like, damn, I get it. Who wants to get told no or looked at crazy for 4 hours on a Saturday?
Yep.
It's not cool, man. But knowing that that's part of the process, like you were saying, the adversity and whatnot, you just go through it. And the crazy thing is 4 hours later, I had 75 contacts.
Crazy. Crazy. I heard they said someone had this analogy, and it was like in business, the beautiful thing about business is it doesn't take a lot of wins to win big, right? And like Steph Curry, best shooter in the world, he only shoots 40%. So when most people, they go talk to 10 people, everyone says no, they're going to be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. This ain't working. You said people, you getting rejected, and you've been doing this. Somebody who doesn't have that mindset, somebody who hasn't been tested, they haven't been challenged, they're going to fold quick, which is why I tell people the best thing you can do is fail fast because it's never easy, right? Yeah. I'm sure you didn't just come into this and this thing just start working. So I tell y'all, most people are thinking themselves out their spot. They're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? Oh, what if this goes wrong? They ain't even started step 1, but they worrying about what happens at first 10. For me, I've been in the online space now for 2.5 years. I was living at my mom's house 2.5 years ago. And the reason I was able to pass most people who are in the credit funding spaces, exactly what you said. I see people get too cool. They only want to post once a day. I'm posting 4 times a day. I see people's like, oh, I don't want to go to the events and have to talk to people. I've been in those same events. I'm still at the events, passing out flyers, talking to people. Right. The difference is just in the work that you're not doing. Yes, it's not a secret. Absolutely. It's not a hack. So shout out to you for sharing that. For a person who's looking at you and they're saying, okay, well, I feel like you have something maybe that I don't have, right? What do you tell that person?
I love it when they say that because so I wore this shirt. I didn't wear my company shirt because sometimes I say things that's not good for the company. So this is my branded shirt, and this shirt is basically says bankrupt off Bankhead.
Yeah.
I wear this shirt and my family has it too because, bro, I filed bankruptcy. You know what I'm saying? I went from here to here, and my wife, who I told her at the time when I did, when I came to realization, which I never thought would happen, that my outflow was more than my inflow, and that all my assets had turned upside down, and that the numbers didn't math anymore. I was like, look, I would leave me if I were you right now. You should leave me because that's like my manhood is wrapped up in that. And she's like, I'm not going to leave you. We're going to figure this out. And so I was like, you sure about that?
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, like I was able to finagle this one house, was one last house because I was in real estate too at the time that I had, which was like a teardown, man, in Bankhead. I don't know if you know where Bankhead is, but it's projects that T.I. and them used to rap about all the time.
Okay.
Over here in Atlanta. And so we had this place, and it was a $20,000 house, man. And I was like, the only way we're going to get through this, we filed as bankruptcy. We come over here, and we're going to have to build from scratch. They take away your credit. They take away everything. Everything's gone. And so we lived in the trap, for years, building ourselves back up. And we moved to Florida to get that job for my wife. It was such a big deal. I didn't have any credit cards. I didn't have anything. Nothing. I couldn't get credit. I'm not allowed to have credit.
Right.
And so we moved down there. We had to rent, and we moved down there on faith. And when I started this business, it was because I was able to partner with somebody who I was able to help him get him credit cards that he swiped through PayPal for $35,000. I had a $30,000 settlement that just happened to come in the mail from a job I had 3 years ago, like some class action I didn't even know about, and that's how I got my start. Zero cash. And again, to tell people who are like, oh, you had something going on, absolutely not. No parents gave me any money for this business. They didn't give my partner any money for this business. We did not come from wealth. We were living in the trap, man. And on top of that, when we started the business, we had hardly any capital. So as soon as we opened, we were out of money, and we had to use merchant cash advance debt to stay afloat, which if you know about that, that's 30 to 40% interest that takes the payment every single day. I almost lost my business multiple times through that. I spent summers where I had no money and just basically went to the store, bought bottles of rum, you know what I'm saying, and Coke just to get through my weekend. 3 days rum and Coke just to get through my weekend to make it back to Monday to try to figure out how to move this business one day at a time, penny by penny to the T, just to make it to the next month. So maybe one day we could get into real bank financing with a real interest rate of 10% instead of the 40%. So nobody gave us shit. We had no investors, challenges that you wouldn't even believe, some business related, some personal, serious stuff, man. And so I would tell anybody that ever said that to me, like, you do your own due diligence. You look, this isn't even sugarcoating.
Facts.
And I wear it as a badge of honor because, again, we're talking about preparation, we're talking about measurement, and we're talking about having to measure everything exactly to the T. Keep yourself sane, fit, healthy, and persevering through all of this while everything is going wrong. And so, and that's why I have zero empathy for most people these days who are like, it's too hard, or I'll never be able to do this, especially when they have children and stuff like that. Because I'm like, bro, if you don't have any whys to make you want to walk through fire and do something, man, then you should be real disappointed in yourself or your parents or whoever. And I don't care what your circumstances are, because people are always like, oh, well, everybody wasn't raised this way or that way or this way. That, if you look at that statistically, that doesn't make any sense, because some of our greatest performers, our greatest athletes, our greatest politicians, our greatest, whether it's Bill Clinton or any football player, any position you want, where did these guys come from? Poverty.
Exactly.
Poverty. My dad, poverty. Crazy poverty. And so we just talked about crowds and it being 1 to 5 people out of 100 that may get the message, right? So I see everywhere you go, that applies to everything in life. There's always this kid who's living in the projects who's like, this doesn't make sense. He didn't need to go to Harvard. He didn't need to go to the best high school or middle school. He's looking around, shit's effed up around here, man.
Make it happen.
I got to get out of here. And I'm willing to do what? Whatever it takes to get out of here. So if you don't have that in you, don't start saying that, oh, like, you have no excuse.
Yeah.
You just don't have that in you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it applies to, you go, I don't know if you've ever bought a dog before. You want to go buy like a really nice pit bull or a kind of Corso or something like that. What do they say? You're buying what the pick of the litter, right?
Yep.
And then you get down to the one dog that nobody wants, bro. That's how it is in life.
That's how it goes.
Every pack, every tribe, every part of town has those few people who are looking around divergent, like this doesn't make sense.
Facts.
I got to get out of here. And so everybody else is just usually closed-minded, sleep at the wheel, lazy as hell or something, or got a million excuses that their dog died or they got IBS or they can't eat gluten or thyroid or whatever it is, bro.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't add up. And so yeah, that's you ask me something like that, I got to tell people that because
for sure.
people always want to take what you've done away from you. They want to take your success away from it, and it makes them feel good.
Exactly.
Be like, oh, he had this or that or this, and it's like, nah, man.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Get it done, right? Because no one's coming to save
Right.
you. And at the end of the day, you can have excuses, you can have results, but you can never have both. So it doesn't matter where you come from, what your situation is. And one thing you said is so good and resonant, because I feel like I hear this with so many entrepreneurs, is everyone came from not a perfect background. Everybody lost parents, coming from poverty, from the projects. I was 29 years old, staying at my mom, moved back into mom's house. Like, all of these things happen, but the greatest thing I always say is what happens to you actually happens for you because it builds that character.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Every time, though.
Yeah.
Every level, I hope you're right. Like,
Absolutely.
even at this level right now, knowing what we're talking about, I still am just like, man, I really hope you're right, bro.
100%.
Because it's hard to see it.
Yeah, it is. You got to be a little delusional, would you say, in entrepreneurship. It's just in life, to be great, you got to be a little delusional. Like, no one around you is like, bro, you're a kid, you're going to build a $3 million company someday, plus. Like, no one's like, oh, you're going to be this guy who has 64 franchises. No, you got to see that shit when nobody else saw it in you. And shout out to wife for holding it down, because I feel like, man, at that time, you said, like, you could be out. And she's like, nah, I'm riding with you even through this storm. And
and I'm glad you brought that up. I'll say this too, man. One thing I see that is a component of what we're talking about as well is a lot of people are not with people like that. I look at, I'm very judgmental when it comes to this piece that we're talking about, because a lot of the time I'm around with people and I'm looking at them and I'm watching and I'm listening and I'm looking for social cues or whatever they're giving off. And I'm like, this woman would not do that for you. She won't do that for you.
You can just tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Is the minute the discomfort comes around, she's not doing that. She's not bringing her standards down. She will not take an L for a year, 2 years for you to get back on her feet. She just can't. And she'll find a reason to say she just can't justify it. She has to leave or whatever. You see this all the time with men, and especially in today's era, where I've never seen so much blatant transactional relationships that are going on here. So these women that these beautiful women that you're out with and spend all this money on, bro, just ask yourself, really, 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 will this person be there for you? Would they be there for you?
I lost it.
And maybe you should ask 5 or 6 people to get their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe your judgment isn't great.
It's off. Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't gonna ride for you like that. They're just not. And you see this for friendships, but especially in relationships like that. Is this person really? Could you take away their designer? Can you downgrade your car to a hoopty, whatever it is, to make it to a higher level? I don't believe.
Hey, now you give us some game. So listen, now you gotta give us some game. What are some cues that as men we could look for when looking to find a good wife?
So many. I mean, there's so many. It's like, here's the thing, for whether you're a man or a woman, though, in order for you to even be able to find these cues, you have to have enough self-reflection and introspect to make sure that at the time you're looking for someone that has the qualities and traits we're about to talk about, you have to be there yourself.
You have to be
You have to arrive yourself. Okay. And so most people can't meet people right now that they find ideal, because you're not that person. You know what I'm saying? But when you are that person, honestly, and that takes suffering, that takes sacrifice, doing the things you don't want to do, to give up something to get something, you got to be in that place in your life to find these people. And so for me, I think there's a lot of cues. Look at the way people are carrying themselves. Look at the way someone's dressed. Look at the way someone presents themselves on social media. Why? Why is someone giving away every bit of themselves sexually, you know what I'm saying, or inferring, sexual things, which really bring down someone's value, especially a woman's value. It's straight up like
Facts.
People that I know, or a person like me, if I was in the market or when I was in the market, I'm not giving up an inch in terms of accepting things that I wouldn't, right.
Yeah.
That things I wouldn't want to bring home to my mom, who, I really trusted and valued my mom and dad's opinion of people that I was, would you bring this person home to your mom? Could you bring this person in front of your friends and family and ask them, just tell me about this person. Is this person good are you guys picking up on things that maybe I'm not picking up on? Or are you just kind of leaning into what you believe because it fits your narrative and makes you feel good, and you're ignoring all these red flag signs, little things. I see young people all the time, like, let me see your phone thing.
Yeah.
Bro, if it's for you, why do you?
If you got to get to that point, it shouldn't be that deep with a person.
Yes,
that's dope. That makes sense.
Your intuition, if you're reading, if you're smart, if you're a person that wants to know, your intuition is going to give you a lot of cues. If you can't travel, or she can't travel, and you're like, shivering in your bed, like, because she hasn't picked up her phone and it's 10, 11 o'clock, or she said, oh, my bad, I fell asleep, and these little different things. It's like, dude, just admit what it is, man. Right. And so many people feel like these people aren't out there for them, that woman or man is not out there. That's not true. Right. That's not true. That woman or man is out there, and they are going through the motions themselves to be the best version of themselves as well. And so that's probably why you're not meeting that person, because there's some void in your life that you're not willing to admit to yourself, some habit that you're doing that you don't want to give up, that's keep you from meeting those people.
Damn.
When I do hang out with a lot of high level people, bro, they're not going for that shit.
Right.
God forbid I ever got divorced or whatever was on the market again. I'm not going for that shit, dude. None of that. Like, a lot of the stuff that people excuse out here is inexcusable. It's unacceptable. A woman and her behaviors and traits, you're going on a dinner and it's about money. And it's about, can you help me with a bill?
Things,
Are you kidding me?
Foolishness, Crazy.
Or you went through a phase where you were doing something in the sex industry or OnlyFans or stripping or whatever. No, you don't get that pass.
None of that.
It's cool. Like, hey, like I've done some things I'm not proud of. You know what I mean? I used to work in security and in strip clubs and stuff like that when I was young. But bro, I'm sorry. That's not for me. That's not for what I'm trying to build. You know what I'm saying? Like, 100%. And you don't get a do-over for that. You don't.
Facts.
You committed to that. We all know what we're doing to a certain level when we cross those lines. So no, we're not giving anybody any leeway on stuff like that. We're not reforming people. We're not saving people. We're not saving hoes. None of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing is for a woman. It's not just one way. It's like when a guy, and I've had different stages of my life. I've been that guy. I've been a total piece of crap. Times 10, 10x. You know what I'm saying? And it's not until you're ready to make steps out of that life, you know what I'm saying, where you're just like, this is not waking up next to people that you don't even know who they are, doing that kind of stuff. After you got to reach a point in your life where this isn't.
So I need to do something new if I want a different result.
And vice versa. And then you can expect the same thing from somebody else.
Damn, that's
you know what I'm saying? And then you come together and you're both willing to do the work. It's a business. It's a transaction. These are contracts too, man. So it's the same thing as a business. And it takes work, man. And work is sacrifice.
All the time. Now that's good, bro. Hey, that was super good. So really, obviously look for cues. Your intuition doesn't lie. Just don't avoid it, because we lie to ourselves as people all the time. But one of the biggest things I heard you say was really like, it's on us. Like, are we the person that we're looking to attract? And a lot of times we do, I feel like in the world in general, in every facet of worlds, we're always looking to blame other things except taking accountability, right? And when you take accountability, you can take the steps forward, like you said, to being the best version of you.
It sets you free. It'll set you free, man.
Now, that's so dope. Hey, this was some crazy game, man. So I know you got a new location coming up. Do you want to highlight that location, let people know where it's at, what's going on?
Yeah. So I appreciate that. We're going to be here in Atlanta on 1080 West Peachtree Street. That's right at the base across from the Google building.
Dope.
It's going to be a bright green. The site glows green at night. So you're going to see us right on the corner. We're right next to the largest condo building that's ever been built here in Atlanta. I think it's going to be the largest condo building right next to us. And I'm at the bottom of the M Radius building. So we're right in the center of the city. We built out the site to actually make it larger so we can have events. If you ever come to Forever Young, it's kind of like, we have a vibe. You come in there, it glows green, the lights are dim, the music, you know what I'm saying? And the whole point is to not just be like a sterile medical place. We want to come in and make you feel comfortable.
Family.
And, come back again, bring somebody. We want to make it fun. We're looking to make friends. It's not just about money. The money will come later.
Yeah.
We're looking to make you look better. And then you tell a friend. That's how we make our money, is by successful interactions, not by just, snake oil sales and BSing people. And so what we want to do is bring something different to Atlanta. Our mission written on the wall in the office is to get Atlanta out again, get Midtown out again, because I noticed this place is a lot quieter than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we're going to just try to get the city out, and we're going to try to make a name for ourselves here and really just try to recreate what we did back in South Florida.
Fire. Love it. Hey, y'all need to be there. I'm definitely going to be there. I already went in, got my blood work. Your boy got a lot of things I'm working on, man. Definitely trying to make this shit. Not trying. I don't believe in trying shit. We're going to get shit done. Definitely going to be getting in the best shape of my life. Definitely going to be locked in. And I'm locked in with y'all, bro. I'm super excited. The Instagram is at Forever Young.
So for me, it's at Forever Young Atlanta with the number 4 Ever Young Atlanta. My Instagram is Carlton, Carlton Washington. I'm sorry, Carlton _ Washington. And then the company's, the one we started at is Forever Young Boca. That's the original page. But yeah, we're in 17 states, so everybody should be able to come. But again, hopefully when they check back in with you, I'm hoping that that we're gonna work with you. You know what I'm saying? Get you some improvements on whatever you're looking to do. And again, we want to let that speak for what we do. I don't want to sit here and tell you all these great things.
Yeah.
I'd rather show you.
Love it.
Love
it. Now I appreciate that. One thing I do with all the guests is one final word. Someone out there, they feeling like they don't know how to get out of a rut, right? But they're trying to figure this entrepreneur thing out. What would you tell that person?
Yeah. So look, first and foremost, we talked about this before. I feel like a lot of people just aren't going to do this. And I'm saying this again, so it triggers you. If you have the potential, if there is something to spark somewhere back here or in here for you to make that step. And what I would tell people is what I've done and what I've told other people to do, which is first and foremost, you're in a rut. Let's start on a Monday. Let's start on a Monday. And here's the thing that we want to work on. We got to work on our mind, we got to work on our body, and we got to work on our soul. And so again, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I'm going to tell you, you probably need to go get some spiritual health. Me personally, I found that being in the Christian church. Maybe you would find that in Judaism or in Islam or whatever. I don't care, but I think that is a piece of what we need to work on. Next, I don't care what state you're at. I don't care what you look like or how you feel. If you're able-bodied, start a gym membership, get a trainer. You may say you're in a rut. I don't have money. Figure it out. Take the one free training session that they give you at the LA Fitness or the Planet Fitness and just write that down. Go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek, get it written out, and just start. I don't care if you're 500 pounds, 200 pounds, 150 pounds. So now we're working on our spiritual. Now that we're working on our physical, the other thing we're going to do, okay, if you're in a rut, why are we drinking and smoking? Why are we drinking and smoking, right? Does that help? Has anybody gotten rich from drinking and smoking? I don't think so. So you have to ask yourself, am I really ready to get out of this rut? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. You know what? Also on Monday, what am I going to do? I'm going to stop drinking. At least we're going to stop drinking alcohol. Boom. So now we're doing that. What's going to happen? 1 to 2 weeks later, I'm going to get my motivation back. I'm going to start feeling better. I'm actually going to get real sleep, undisturbed sleep, and my metabolism is going to start working. Okay, boom. And then what else do we got to do? You're in a rut. What else is free? You can get a Headway app, short mini books that you can do every day. You probably haven't done this in a long time. If you're in a rut, you probably stopped growing, right? So every single day, now we're going to the gym. We're working on our spiritual. Now we're also getting one book a day. It's 15 minutes every morning. They consolidate a book. So now you're getting smarter every single day. Now you're getting stronger every single day. And then from there, there's the accountability piece. Let's do an assessment. What's not working for me? Why am I in a rut? Whose fault was it? The truth of the matter is everything just about is your fault. Almost everything outside of an act of God. And so this is the first thing we want to say to ourselves as we're going through this process. Today is the last day. I'm doing this. I feel like shit. I'm in a rut. I just came to your show today. This guy's telling me this. What do I have to lose? He gave it to me for free. I'm on YouTube for free. All his suggestions are free, right? So are you willing to do the best practices we talked about today or not? So it starts with accountability. Everything is your fault. Get somebody who's an accountability partner and say, I'm looking to make a change. Maybe it's the person you met at church. Maybe it's the person you met at the gym. People will help you. I promise you this. And when you're doing these things for a month, 2 months, you've built a habit. Next thing you want to do is, what is it that you want to do? Why do you consider yourself in a rut? Let's find one person out there that models what you want to do. And you go, and now here's the other word, submission. Go and say, look, Mr. Such and Such, I want to get in podcasting. I'm going to come to you, but look, bro, can I just like move something around for you? You need anything, whatever you need, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up on time. Money, no money, bro. I just want to be in the building and just, whatever it is, submit to a process. That's what I would recommend doing. That's what I've had to do. That's what changed my life. A lot of the time we don't like how these things come to us because sometimes accountability might come from someone saying, hey, look, bro,
get your shit together.
And it's the difference between the person we get mad and we retreat, or it's okay to feel uncomfortable. You're not going to like it. But we say, hey, man, why did he tell me this? Why did he tell me that? Damn, okay, maybe that was a sign. Maybe that was the universe trying to tell you something, right? And so those are my tips. It's really mind, body, and soul. Sounds cliche, but it is true. And that's all we got. And when you have that optimized, you become a more optimized person. I know you've had other guests who probably say the exact same thing in a different shape or form.
Because it's true.
Yes. And it's real. And so that's what I would say. And then at the end of the day, wrap all of this up in a good package. People will treat you the way you present yourself. The way you look comes dude.
Discipline.
Yes.
Respect.
Yes. And it doesn't have to sound good. It doesn't have to make you feel good. It's just the truth. And
truth
so
hurts, but you need it.
Absolutely. So those are my tips.
So good.
And it's not rocket science. And you brought the point up that it's going to suck. It's going to suck, man. We underestimate how much it's going to suck. And so understanding that getting out of your rut is going to feel like pain.
That's it.
And just go through the pain.
That's it. Man, go through the pain just to get to your dream life, man. Shout out my guy Carlton came on, went crazy. Definitely gave y'all at least, I would say, infinite amount of game. I was gonna say 100,000 worth of game, but it's more than that because there's so much value in mind, body, spirit, and understanding yourself, man. Another episode of Influence to Impact podcast. I'm gonna have a link in the description. Y'all can go make sure y'all go follow my guy for more on just how to become the best you, so you can get to your dream life. All right, we out of here. Until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this out. Peace.